Hello, my friends, and welcome back to our continued blind Let's Play of Homestuck. My name is the FlightlessBird. This is your story-based game channel, and today, well, maybe past page 6,000. That would be cool. But yeah, we're in Act 6, Intermission 5. I think this is actually Intermission 5. We may be in an intermission, and intermission? Question mark? But yeah, let's get going, shall we? I hope you're all having a wonderful, fantastic, amazing, awesome day today. Starting with Arania here. I'm afraid not. Everyone must listen to the full story. OMFG, you really are turning evil, aren't ya? I would be proud, except of how terrible and boring the actual consequences are for me personally. Wait, does that mean when you're a ghost, you still have to pee? What? None of your business, blue kid. That's so weird. Am I the only one who think that's weird? No, John. It's definitely pretty weird that ghosts have to pee. You get used to life as a ghost pretty fast, though. But weren't you already pretty used to peeing when you were alive? Yeah, that's why you get used to it pretty fast, dummy. This is kind of a stupid conversation. Can we hear more about the snakes and whatnot? It was a pretty cool story. Yes, as soon as Mina returns from her visit to the Load Gaper. Holy mackerel, can you blah 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 enjoy your space lizard porn? All that, yeah. Take a pee. Alright, yeah, go take a pee. Oh, we are one step away from it. Ah, dang it, if I had known. Oh well, it's fine. Like I said, we're in intermission right now, so we're fine. I think we could all stand to take a brief intermission from the story regardless. To let all these intriguing facts about cherubs sink in. Ugh, you and your intermissions. What is with your intermissions? They ain't even intermissions most of the time. They just an excuse to tell another dumb story inside a longer dumb story. Yes, Mina, you are correct, and your reservations are noted. However, would it change your mind if I were to propose not an intermission but an Interfishin? Oh, the double dots. Ha! Fine, let's do this interfishin thing you said, 'cause a fish. Be right back, you scrubs. Begin the interfishin. The gone fishing thing was there. Oh, an elevator stuck. P-bar is full. Look at John. Aye, patch guy, fell the heck down. Like captor, I guess. So, what are we doing here? I see, kid takes bye. End of Interfishin. Oh. Right, back to the story. Anyway, where was I? The heroine's story ends and the villain's story begins. I think? Yes, that's right. It is with the predomination of her son that the heroine's story ends and the story of our villain begins. Was a clown involved in this? But as we all know, beginnings are not always so easy to pinpoint in paradox space. One could say his story began the day he claimed immortality, or the moment his being was inexplicably confined to a juju allowing him access to any realm in which his vessel would capriciously materialize. But for the sake of linearity, we may as well say his story began the day he and his sister hatched. Okay, I wasn't expecting that to be what a baby cherub looks like, but yeah, it's a snake. I mean, I guess that makes sense according to the previous panel, right? When a cherub hatches, the two undeveloped personalities mingle together in the same body. There is not yet a clear division between the two. It will then consume the eggshell for the vital nutrients it contains. The sugary snack is irresistible to the starving wiggler. Once it finishes its first meal, the two personalities will be pulled apart for good and the child will pupate. The two halves then begin vacillating with their sleep cycles, as I described. You were here at the beginning? Stupid clowns. As you might expect, the female child was as cheerful and friendly as could be. Aww. Actually, kind of cute in some weird way. I mean, she makes it cute. He makes it creepy. She took after her mother in every way, at least the way her mother used to be, long before she was burdened by centuries of isolation and obsessive pursuits of justice. And the brother is insane. And to be and to just as little surprise, the male child was an insufferable brat. It is just as well that chair parents abandon the offspring. Raising such a child by the familiar standards of any race would be a monumental challenge. Nevertheless, it would seem there were those who tried. Details of my research suggest our villain had a number of acolytes operating in the shadows, preparing for his arrival. We'll probably never know who these scurrilous conspirators were, honk, but it is evident that at some point the chair was locked in a room, either out of exasperation or for its own good, until it was old enough to enter the session. So in one game I have fairy issues. This game is gonna be clown issues. Like we didn't have a movie about a killer clown and a red balloon. Jujubes and a steak. Is that New York strip? That's not New York strip. It's like one. That's not ribeye either. Looks good, whatever it is. Sorry, I like meat. The children were left with everything a cherub could ever want: meat, candy, computers, a lifetime special of a supply of special stardust, and of course their precious jujus. The acolytes had clearly gone to great lengths to harvest such items from all over the cosmos, so they could lavish the young master with gifts. They may have been prisoners, yes, but if you ask me, these children were very spoiled. While the female was preparing for a collaborative approach to the game, the male was plotting furiously against her. He never had any intention of working with her. As far as he was concerned, the game was his and his alone to conquer. Ow, went full Saw there, and that's even worse than Saw. That is, oh my god. One day he put his plan into motion. He had his sister's dream self assassinated on Prospect. The next time she went to sleep, she would never wake up again. When her brother woke up, he became the sole occupant of the body. He then freed himself from his chains and launched the session by himself. But this game was never meant to be played solo. Its format is inherently cooperative. The diversity of players, the combination of efforts and aspects, this is what awakens the true creative potential of the game. Without them, a session will wither and die. If one player enters alone, it completely alters the nature of the game. It changes its purpose. For a solo player, a challenging quest becomes an insurmountable one. A reward of infinite promise becomes a boon far more sinister. The gauntlet which the player must overcome is seemingly designed to be impossible. For all intents and purposes, it is not actually a game at all. It is a death sentence for any player foolish enough to accept the challenge. But it bears repeating. This was very special cherub. He entered what is called a dead session. This qualifies as both a null and void session, but it is even less than either of those. Compared to a typical session, it is almost unrecognizable. Before the game begins, sky is blotted out with a dark layer of clouds. The light is extinguished for good. There is no planet waiting for the player in the medium, so instead he brought it with him. Brought it with him? Land of former Earth? Let me see the Statue of Liberty over here. But when he arrived, there was no heroic journey for him to embark on. There was nothing. No sprite, no concerts, no underlings. The land had no name. Those things all needed to be unlocked. To unlock his true quest, he was forced to undergo a series of excruciatingly tedious trials. Only then would the way to the planet score be revealed. There, he would consult with the most monstrous days of all. And while such trials might discourage most players from even trying, our villain's response was quite the contrary. He was only emboldened by the mind-numbing chores. He took to them with gusto, as in performing them out of spite. Yeesh. Everything's so red. It looks really cool, though. I like the little sun snake thing. That thing looks cool. With perseverance, he found the final door and unlocked it. Waiting for him on the other side was a terrible creature named Yaldabaoth. His sentence will allow him a brief audience, one just long enough for him to make the choice. Uh, Here's way down there. I don't think there's anything else playing on this page. It's just showing S because there's sound. Ah, one image. Thing is huge. No denizen has been mistaken for pleasant company. But the self-proclaimed god of all monsters is notoriously inhospitable to his players. His choices are known for the wild extremes, and to this player, in this session, he offered his most extreme choice of all. It was a choice between a path of conquest and a path of sacrifice. I wonder which one he chose. But this is putting it lightly. In a tongue only his player could understand, he described what the path of the martyr entailed. In short, it involved nothing. The player chooses to walk away from the temptation of power, to surrender all ambition, and to welcome death. Exchange for this pledge comes a promise. The player's sacrifice is assured to benefit all who have ever lived. In death, the player will later be in a position to help bring an end to the force of unfathomable evil and destruction. A force which was unleashed, for instance, by someone who once opted for the other choice. Yaldabaoth then described what it meant to choose the path of the conqueror. It was a path for a more active player, to be sure. The player's mettle as a conquering force would be tested directly, and repeatedly. One by one, he would have to conquer and destroy a number of planets spawned for him in the session. Each would be more difficult than the last. After destroying them all, his true land would become unlocked. He would then return to face his denizen again, and defeat him in combat. If successful, his reward would be unprecedented. He would receive the boon of unconditional immortality, whose resurrection would not be linked with the just or heroic nature of death. It is unclear how this boon would be rewarded, since to my knowledge it is beyond even the ability of a denizen to allow this. But through whichever mechanism in the boon is bestowed, immortality is only the beginning. The player is somehow also imbued with the limitless supply of power, enough to destroy anything he wanted for as long as he ever wanted. And knowing the villain of our story, everything he wanted would be everything, and as long as he wanted would be forever. Yes, knowing a villain, the choice he could make is quite clear. Knowing him, in fact, proves it could hardly be considered a choice at all. It was at this point the real game would begin. Sky would undergo a dramatic transformation, becoming even darker and heavier. Soon it would become a very massive solid sphere. It would begin to garner heat within due to rising density. The surface would begin to crack. Wow, page 6000 opened up with a bang! The resulting explosion is known as the first break. From the primordial blast would emerge 15 planets and for the player to conquer. They would scatter and ricochet at a high velocity before settling into orbit in the medium. The break is a very violent phenomenon though. Not all planets will necessarily clear the blast before the sky debris settles into its final strait. The vast amounts of resulting matter then collapses into a black hole. Its gravitational pull is tremendous. Any object with range will be sucked in and destroyed. Those planets which settle into orbit will be safe for the time being. But in the case of our villain session, 3 of the planets did not make it and fell back into the hole. That was a very lucky break for him. Hmm. They almost look like... Yeah, they do. Don't they? They look like balls on a pool table. So you have stripes, you have solids, and you have the black, but I don't see the the solid white. Do you have solid black, you have stripes, and you have solids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then solid. It meant that he would only have to conquer 12 planets instead. This bit of good fortune would very well have been the difference between which allowed him to overcome a nearly impossible challenge. His task was to destroy all these planets in order, each within a time allowance that gets shorter with every planet. To destroy a planet, first it must be conquered. He would have to overcome all forces of resistance on the planet, and ultimately defeat whatever powerful underling ruled there. Then, much like he did unlock the quest in the first place, he would have to travel to the planet's core. There, he would retrieve a bomb and return to the surface. If he did not accomplish this in time, the bomb would detonate in the core and the game would be lost automatically. The bomb is not powerful enough to destroy the planet alone. In fact, its purpose is not to damage the planet at all, but to move it. Huh. So he must bring it to a designated location on the surface. And when it explodes, the planet will be knocked out of orbit and sucked into the hole. Of course, he must make sure he has moved onto the next planet before this happens. He repeats this process for each planet until they are all gone. There is one caveat though. He must skip the 8th planet. If he seeks that one before any of the others, it will result in the destruction of the entire session. Thus, it must be the final planet he conquers. Land of... Upon destroying the 8th planet, his true land will reveal itself. The dead planet will come to life, and there he must prepare for battle with his denizen. He may sharpen his combat skills, craft new weaponry, anything he do to improve his chances against a very powerful in-game foe. Fortunately for him, though, he would not have to face the monster alone. By then, he will have accumulated a party of loyal minions. Hey! It's these guys. With each planet he destroys, he will be awarded a new leprechaun follower. Even if a planet was destroyed in the break, he will still be awarded its planet's leprechaun upon destroying the planet preceding it. Sort of like a 2-for-1 deal. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait. Leprechauns? Yes, John. I am delighted to see that you have pounced on what is clearly the most interesting part of the story thus far. Leprechauns are a fascinating mythical race, although there is some dispute among scholars as to whether they are actually a breed of gnome. Huh? I can't say I blame you for being speechless. There are no doubt hundreds of questions swirling in your head at once about these wonderful creatures. Where do I even begin? You must forgive me. I find it very difficult to resist going on at length about them. I just think they are just so great. For instance, I can and have given lectures for weeks at a time on the marvelous and widely varying magical abilities. More intriguing yet would be any medium to long form harangue on the topic of their culture and customs, most of which revolve around luck. But most captivating of all, and the subject upon which I will now assiduously expound, would be the positively scintillating subject of leprechaun romance. What? What? Ah. Oh dear God, if you thought the troll romance was complicated, I can see headaches forming here. And she's so happy to talk about it. Oh dear Lord. Oh, strap yourselves in. The problem is that when the subject of leprechaun romance is broached, our overly obsessive troll intellects instantly assume the most ingratiating posture of admiration imaginable, which makes it hard. Hard to give a proper academic focus, I mean, because of how great it is. But we will do our best to understand regardless. Trolls have only 4 forms of romance, even though we consider a complicated subject spanning a wide range of emotions, social conventions, and implications for reproduction. It is ultimately a superficial slice of what leprechauns consider the full body of romantic experience. Our concept of romance, in spite of its capacity to fill our art and literature and to rule our individual destinies like little else, is still just that. A single quaternary concept, a concept usually denoted by four symbols. God, oh man. Maybe I chose the wrong voice for Vriska, considering, or Aranea, sorry, Aranea Vriska, considering how, how rapid I'm reading this. It's, it's a lot. Leprechaun's romance in a more complicated way than that. Leprechaun romance needs 9 symbols. The 9 quadrants of Leprechaun romance are considerably more nuanced than our quaint notions of romance and certainly more alien. In fact, so conditioned is my own understanding of romance that I can't help but refer to them as quadrants, when in fact they are not quadrants at all. They are referred to as charms. One of the charms is characterized by romantic love, as understood by both trolls and humans. But after that, all bets are off. There is no division between black or red, concupiscent or conciliatory. Instead, the charms comprise a spectral continuum of more subtly varied types of relationships, most of which are established in mutual chicanery, such as the exchange of pranks, queer riddles, slapstick shenanigans, and games of chance. Furthermore, a pair of leprechauns is not limited to a single charm. A relationship may be defined by multiple charms at once. In fact, some of the most interesting relationships arise from exotic charm combinations. A stable relationship consisting of 3 or more charms is called a trove. These advanced relationships are often viewed as the ideal end result for a romance, much the way certain pairing rituals are for humans. Why are we learning about this? Oh my god! My brain is about to explode. It's hard enough to understand a troll romance. Now we have leprechaun? Why? It's like, hey, Flightless Bird, you want to read this awesome story about how this cherub is gaining power? Yes, I do. Great. Let me stall you first by talking about leprechaun romance. Why are we doing this? Oh, maybe it'll come important later. I doubt that. I doubt that. No charm is specifically tied to procreation, though any type of relationship could become waxing conspicuous if a lady luck should go to side. Certain charm combinations are known to be more conducive to fertility than others. If the leprechaun pair have been so blessed, they will begin an elaborate coupling procedure culminating in a lively melting jig. The jigs are specific to the charms, of course, similar to how different kinds of music lend themselves to various styles of dance. While the romance is endlessly captivating, leprechaun reproduction may be the most interesting subject of all, particularly from a perspective of detailed anatomic study, which I will get to shortly. But first, it bears pointing out that while for human reproductive relationships are exclusively heterosexual, and for trolls they are bisexual, for leprechauns they are. Wow, what a story! But I wasn't Wow, was that a great story, everyone? Wow, thank you, Vriska. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All hail Vriska. All hail Vriska. You really liked it that much, Vriska? Heck yeah! Oh my god, that leprechaun stuff, it's so good, right, guys? Wow, well, I would be happy to continue then if you mind Fang. Have I told you how great it's been to get to know each other and team up on adventures and stuff? I really feel like you've helped me get in touch with my ancestral roots, mainly as a kick-butt storyteller. It was like this whole part of my personality I was never aware of. Like the part that's compelled to just outright explain tons of really interesting things to people while sparing no details. Did a whole page just exist just to make a joke? It's made me feel a lot closer to my understanding my aspect as well close to you, so I wanted to say thanks. You're welcome. I feel the same exact way about my time with you. You have really helped me get in touch with my true pirate within. I saw you in the adventure spirit, and I always wish I could be. You helped me finally understand the virtue in rationalizing questionable decisions and behaving unscrupulously for the greater good. Stop. You're going to make me start tearing up. Get over here and give me a hug, Alpha Sister. Aw. I mean, wait, they're kind of hugging themselves? I mean, yeah. Gag joke. Wink, wink. High five. Anything to shut her up. I have a feeling that's what that's all about. Ooh. What is going on here? Why are you in boxer? Wait, are you in boxer jammies? It looks like that's a part of your jammies. This looks like you're on a float or something. I have no idea. Who? You know, Friska's ancestor. The friendly one tells long stories. Oh yeah, her. I don't know. Can't keep all these ghost names straight. Fliptuna? Meowlin? Man, wasn't there a Carlos? Screw it. They were all named Carlos as far as I'm concerned. Wait, except Mina. She was alright. A little forward, but whatever. This isn't the point. All I remember about my interactions with this circuit girl was getting cornered into these ludicrous monologues. Then racking my brain for excuses to get the heck out of there. Yeah, well, I was a little more tactful than you and actually listened and let her talk me into something I shouldn't have. So she was just like, poof. Suddenly eyes were better? Yes. What is she? Some sort of magic fairy? Yes, that's kind of literally what she is. Oh, alright, I guess the story checks out then. Good for her. But this doesn't seem like you, Terezi. I mean, I didn't think you'd even wanted your eyesight back. I never met anyone as chuffed about her own disability as you. I was always under the impression you felt like it was part of who you are. Wait, Terezi can see now? What happened? It just said how it happened, but like, ah! It was. The moment she healed me, I knew I made a terrible mistake, but I couldn't take it back. I thought about it, like just blinding myself again and pretending it never happened, but even the way it happened originally was something special to me. I can't duplicate that. And even if I could, it still wouldn't be the same. I can't seem to forgive myself for being so stupid. For some reason, I thought it was a good idea to take the only cool and unique thing about myself and fix it. What was I thinking? Whoa, whoa. The only cool thing about you? Terezi, I want to be understanding, but I can't get behind some of the stuff you're saying about yourself here. What made you start unraveling like this? I think it was when we started meeting our ancestors, and I thought they were all cooler and older and more interesting than us, even though they probably weren't. They had a lot of problems and scrupulosities too. But I guess the kind that older kids have, and when you're younger, you don't really recognize them as problems. You look at those things as just part of what it's like being someone who's more interesting and grown up than you. Maybe since I'm not as young anymore, I guess I can see that now. But I was stupidly awestruck by some people who were not so impressive in retrospect, and I made a dumb mistake. Wait, we met all those people like kind of a long time ago. How long you been hiding this from everyone? I don't know. A year or something, and I wasn't hiding it. I just didn't tell anybody. Well, yeah, that's what hiding means. But you usually can't see my eyes anyway, 'cause of my glasses, duh. I know, but not telling anybody that is still being pointless and secretive. Could have said, hey, car cat, I screwed up. Now I can see again. Maybe we could talk about this so I don't go into a tragic downward spiral and make you worry about me for no reason? I'm sorry. I should have, but I was so ashamed. And what about the clandestine backroom nonsense you got going on with Gumsy? What? Have you been dating him for just as long? Was he involved in that decision? Like, did he help talk you into healing your eyes or something? How did you know we were dating? Did he tell you? Oh my god, Terezi, you are a catastrophe. You used to be like cunning and considerably more intelligent than me, which I have no problem admitting. But this is ridiculous. Even if I didn't figure it out myself, which I did because it was obvious. You're up here on the roof lying unconscious in a pile of honk horns and Fago bottles. Not a master of deduction, but unless you were recently stomped on by some sort of golem composed of garbage from a circus, seems fair to say you are officially down with the clown. Uh, okay, yes, it's true. Well, what do you have to say about it? I couldn't get up the nerve to tell you about that either. In a way, I'm even more disgusted with myself for dating that butthole than I am for healing my eyes. Well, then why are you doing it? I don't know. I can't bring myself to stop seeing him. Every time I think I can stomach the sight of his ugly face for another second, he pulls me back in. He is just so awful. Hey, what's up, buddy? Can't tell if it's Dave or Dirk. He always knows exactly what to say to tick me off. Everything he does. His fake god tier suit, his smug expression, the dummy ways he butchers his sentences, saying stuff like all getting up at this mother hacking honk on arg. I hate it so much, but I keep coming back for more. He's like a drug, even more addictive than this. Revolting soda I can't stop drinking. I've had so much Fago I can't even taste the color anymore. I just taste the sugar in the bubbles and the awful flavor it leaves behind, which makes me drink more to wash it away. Until I feel so nasty I had to take a long soda nap, but I wake up loathing myself even more. Oh, so I just reach for another bottle. It is truly the wicked elixir. Ah!
Trizzy.
I want him to be out of my life. He is the worst thing that's ever happened to me, but I guess you can't help who you hate.
Oh, this is killing me. Hearing this. I seriously want to weep actual puke out of my elbows from the story. How did this happen? Gotta say, I didn't see it coming. If you told me soups ago, you and he, I wouldn't believe it. Like, if the writing was on the wall there, I sure as heck didn't read it.
Yeah, it snuck up on me. It didn't help that he terrorized us when we were hiding from Jack. Right under my nose, too. Somehow I didn't put the pieces together at this time and let him get away with murder. And gradually I started having these uncontrollable thoughts about him. Dark thoughts. And when I would catch a whiff of him in the corridors like he was taunting me, that just fanned the flames. Then we started talking stuff with each other more and more. And he was so much nastier than he ever used to be. Way more than any of our friends ever were. One time, he started mocking my blindness, which never bothered me when anyone else did it, but somehow this stuff he said, I let it get under my skin. And combined with meeting a lot of new people I felt like I couldn't live up to. That's when I started reconsidering Arena's offer.
I knew it. I knew he must have had something to do with that decision, that slimy bastard. This is mostly my fault. I wasn't vigilant enough with him, and I let our moral allegiance break down. If I kept a closer eye on him, maybe he wouldn't have lured you around his spinning tent of garbage.
No, you shouldn't feel like.
Or maybe it's Kanaya's fault. She's always been a really good auspices. Maybe she could have prevented this. She wasn't so preoccupied herself. No, wait. It's actually my fault again. If I had been on the ball and auspicized between her and Rose, she would have had the time to auspicize between you and Gamesy. No idea if I'm saying auspicize correctly, but that's a really big word, so forgive me. Anyway, dang it, I always say I know so much about romance, especially the word auspicize. But I routinely underestimate its complexity. So I only figure out what to do after it's way too late. God, I'm so stupid.
Blarg, shut up. It's no one's fault but mine. I'm the one who has to deal with it.
Yeah, okay. For what it's worth, he'll probably just break it off and leave you once we get to the new session. All his loyalties and priorities are totally worked now. I'm not sure what he really cares about anymore. I'm sure isn't any of us.
You think he will leave me?
Yeah, I do.
Uh,
Whoa, what? Isn't that what you want?
no, I'd be devastated if he had just suddenly ditched me like that.
Okay, help me out. You're confusing me here.
I'd feel pathetic, and I guess a sick and terrible part of me doesn't want him to go. But if he does, I want it to be because I tell him it's over.
Well, alright, I guess that makes sense. Sorry. I'm just trying to be supportive here. But I'm not always sure what the right thing to say is. I'm doing my best. This is complicated for me too. I mean, you're both my friends.
I know. I appreciate your intentions, Carcat. Maybe it would be better if you weren't sitting up there in that backwards chair while you talk to me.
What? Why?
Yeah, dude, you should probably ditch the chair.
What the heck is wrong with my chair?
Or at least sit on it front ways. Well, for another chair, I don't know. It's kind of a dumb infection in this context.
No, look, it's casual, relax. Like it visually conveys that my presence in the conversation is humble and non-threatening, yet frank and attentive. What the heck do you want from me?
I just sit on the floor.
Why should I squat on the dirty floor? What difference does it make?
So you can be on the same vertical plane with your friend while you exhibit compassion for a grotty clown problem. Dave, it's fine. Never mind about the chair. I don't care. It just struck me as a bit distractingly silly, that's all.
Okay, well, fine. Screw the chair. Pardon me for making myself comfortable during a sincere heart-to-heart discussion with a dear friend in need. But the time has come for me to cease straddling this deeply offensive piece of furniture. Away with ye, four-legged tempters. Distract us no more at the most basic utilitarian form of creature comfort you supply.
Carcat. Carcat just threw a tantrum about a chair. I just won a Carcat tantrum bingo. Oh, he's got the crab thing going on here. Oh, that's not a part of the boxes. Okay, that's separate. It just looked like it was part of the boxes earlier.
At last, we are free from the accursed instrument of butt elevation.
Where did you even get that chair? Did you steal it from the common area?
Unlike everything else ever, I happen to make a practice of cataloging items that might be convenient on a day-to-day basis. Say I'm strolling around and find myself in need of a place to sit. Bam! Suddenly a chair. And no, I didn't steal it. How could I steal something from the common area? Nobody actually owns any of that furniture. That's why it's called the common area, you accusatory piece of garbage.
Sounds like communism. Are you a communist or something? Actually, that makes perfect sense with what you're sickle and all.
What are you talking about?
Wait, John has a hammer. Oh, heck. It's all adding up. When you arrive, are you going to team up with John and see as a means of reproduction? Production, not reproduction. Whatever.
You appear to be jump-starting a facetious discussion about some sort of human economic ideological framework without having the slightest clue that your vehicle is parked squarely in the nobody gives a heck zone.
I'm just saying, first chairs and what next? See, I'm all about the private property and the pocketing dough. You have any idea how rich I am? I'm a man of means, mother.
What is your point?
I just don't come after my boonies, dude. Or should I say, Carcat Marks?
You aren't being serious now. These are not the words of a serious person. I was having a serious discussion, like a big-time adult, with my good friend Terezi. Your callous, nonsensical remarks are derailing us from the delicate subject at hand. Why don't you be useful and say something reassuring to our sad mutual buddy, you wailing jet engine of infantile stoltiloquence?
Stoltiloquent. Sure. Yeah, well, we're having a serious conversation here. Should we go back to that? I don't have much to say about this. I've kind of got to recuse myself on the matter. I'm all kinds of on record as being squeaked out by the idea of hate relationships. So I got no point of reference for gauging when one is screwed up by the way that's normal for trolls, or if it's screwed up because it's actually screwed up and terrible. This is like some ex-alien boyfriend prime directive stuff. I can't intervene, because I don't know what I'm talking about. But you, do so. I guess keep going. You were saying some pretty good stuff before I started writing your jock about the chairs.
Urgh. Terezi, you see? See what I had to deal with? Actually, I guess you can. You can now literally see what I have to deal with and experience all due empathy for the fact that I have a douche as a best friend.
Yes, I can see. This view from here is douchetacular. Ah, thank you.
So that's it then? No advice at all, smart Alec? Why'd I even bring you here for this intermission then?
Intermission?
Intervention, I mean. Sorry, I misspoke.
It's not an intervention either. My ghostly hands are beaming out of this crowd for moral support, yo. I am in my homie's corner, even if he is a massive socialist. Trezzy, I think you can probably figure this out. She grew up alone and blind in a forest. I think she'll manage to bounce out of her juggalo phase. But yeah, Trezzy, you should at least quit the stupid soda. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yes, I'll stop.
What? Just like that?
Sure, it's really gross. It's the hardest thing in the world to stop an addiction when the addiction is overpowering to the point where even if you hate what you're doing, you still feel like you have to keep doing it. So, yeah, that's a really tough thing there for Terezi.
I think we're missing the point here. This isn't just about an unhealthy obsession with a foul soft drink. It's about how you feel about yourself. You're barely functioning right now. Can't even pick yourself up off the floor and put on a pair of pants. Remember pants, Trezzy? Used to love pants.
Yeah, pants are pretty great.
Used to. Used to be a lot of things. All those were good things. But now we're about to arrive right when we need you the most. And you do a sensational belly flop into a circus vat of your own tangy slobber.
Oh, please, what could you possibly need me for?
You're an important member of this party. We'll need you to help stand up to Jack and whatever else is waiting for us out there.
I don't think I will be very useful.
Well, not like this, you won't. Gotta get your act together.
No, I mean, even then I won't be. I don't have much to offer even on my best day.
What about your mind powers, though? What if we need somebody with mind powers to do some sort of, mindy thing?
What mind powers?
You know, the one where you flip a coin and something crazy happens. I don't actually know how it works, but what about that?
Piff. I never developed those powers very well, and it's been a very long time since I even thought about them. I don't think they're very valuable, honestly. In fact, all they ever seemed to do was trick me into feeling like I knew what I was doing. They actually made me believe I was in control of other people's fates, not even to speak of my own. It was a really dangerous kind of delusion, and now it feels like the only heroic thing I ever did with those powers was use them to justify killing my friend.
Huh?
Ah.
Oh, right.
And what's worse is, to this day, I'm still not even totally sure if it was necessary. I think I've lost this ability to tell if I'm being punished for what I did or if I'm punishing myself.
Well, yeah, of course it was necessary. Even if it wasn't the morally right choice or whatever, it was obviously something that had to happen. That's the cool thing about paradox space. Systematically validates all your mistakes as necessary outcomes. Not even necessary for your own good or personal growth. It's always bigger than you. Like your errors of judgment are irreparable from the way reality has to unfold. So it never lets you forget about them. Because they're all critical to the big picture. And all your past flaws are like scars. Scars in space time that never heal. And always serve to remind you that the perfect version of yourself you wish you could be can never exist. Because the survival of everyone you care about depends on him not existing.
I know all that. It doesn't stop me from wandering.
It's simple. If you hadn't killed her, you would have withered away in a doomed timeline.
Yeah, and sometimes I wish I had. At this point, I think I would rather be the better person who made the right decision. Even if it also meant being the one to fade away forever.
Well, I wouldn't want that. Does that matter to you? Does that factor anywhere into your dreary existential equation?
You probably think I'm crazy, just as crazy as you think I am for dating Gamzi, but I really miss her.
No, I don't think you're crazy for that.
And yet, if I ever saw her again, there's no way I could talk to her, so part of me hopes I never. Ow! Spider crab bitter. Dave, you dick! What? Don't blame me. I can control the crab. Act 6, Intermission 5, Intermission 3. Holy cow. We're back to these guys. And that quickly ends the end of. Yeah. I was gonna say, we're not fully on an hour, but if we're at the end of an mission, might be a good place to spot. But his intermissions usually go pretty fast from what I've seen before. So yeah, definitely. By the way, if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that thumbs up to like the video and subscribe. It means a lot to me. Oh my god, there's the leprechaun romance that they referred to. Even Lil Seb's gotten into it. Why do you have a giant fleshy thing running through you? Wait, why to that planet? Give me two elves. You're calling them elves now? Yes. But they're leprechauns. Or gnomes, according to some baloney scholars. They can be additionally referred to as elves. I have now decided. Whatever. Why are there two? Because of the 2-for-1 deal. You sunk the 7th planet on the break. So when you destroy the 6th planet, you unlock both the 6th and 7th elf. Now you're on the 8th planet. This one doesn't give you an elf. It doesn't. No. What about a gnome? Nope. What about a leprechaun? No, you get nothing. Good day, sir. Why not? Because you're supposed to skip this one and destroy it last. You're just wasting time hanging around here. The clock is ticking. Alright, but first, I want to get the powers straight. Am I correct in assuming the powers keep getting more useless? Yes. Just as I suspected. I don't even care anymore. I just want to know. So, Orange Hat, we have established, just walks ahead of me all the time. No matter how far off he wanders and gets lost, I always seem to catch up with him. Yes? And Green Hat, he just has a doll with pins in it. Yes? What's up with that? He has a doll with pins in it. And, well, every time you get a new elf, he'll take another pin out. That's all I gotta really tell you. Okay, got it. It's pointless. Moving on. Maroon power. I can't tell what his power is. What is his power? He doesn't have a power. Are you kidding me? No? Well, that's a new low, even for these idiots. But Maroon Hat is pretty smart. You can use him as a high-ranking henchman or something. Being smart isn't a power. Plus, I doubt it. How smart can any of these imbeciles be? You should talk to him and find out. No. Come on. Just a little friendly chat. Fine. I will have a word with him very briefly. Okay. Hey, are you still talking to him? Wow, you guys are really going at it there. What the heck could you be talking about for so long? It's getting ridiculous. Time on the next cue ball bomb is ticking away. Okay, I'm back. And? Maroon Hat is highly intelligent and personable, so I've decided he is my favorite guy so far. See? I told you. I will give him some important responsibilities later, but I have not decided what. Maybe you can hold on to something important for you. Good idea. Like what? Oh, I know. My cow top. No, not the cow top. That's dumb. My gun. No. My candy. No, you idiot. Screw you. If you have an idea, then just tell me what it is, Puzzle Man. Look at the color of his hat. What else do you have that's that color? Also, what object can you think of that's kind of shaped like a 7? Oh, of course.
A boomerang.
Okay, I give up. I will make a mental note to secure a boomerang in the future. Yes, it makes so much sense to be a boomerang. Thematically, because it always comes back around in one big circle. Like all this time stuff I'm supposed to be about. Oh, okay, last question. Why is Purple Hat constantly dancing in my presence? Yeah, I guess in retrospect, Purple Hat has always been pretty flirtatious, hasn't he? What? Maybe you should try to be more open minded, though. Have you ever considered a Star Heart Omega relationship with someone? Maybe I'll discover that you have never truly experienced joy until you've been in a Star Heart Omega with the dancing elf. Cowboy has spiked his cow top on the ground. I still don't explain what this big thing is, though. Heart clover. Yeah! Ooh, the pirate ship is sailing. That looks evil. All right, well, let's go ahead and take a break here, my friends. Love you all so very much. Hope you have a wonderful, fantastic, amazing, awesome day. And I'll see you next time when I continue upon Let's Read of Homestuck. Until then, have a wonderful, fantastic, amazing, awesome day. So long, and take care. Thank you for watching this video and being the #1 YouTube community in all of YouTube. Feel free to comment on what you saw and what you would like to see next. I always love to hear from you. And remember that you matter, you are brilliant, and you are loved. Always be true to yourself and never let the world tell you any different. Much love to you from your friendly, feathered, flightless bird.